Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at another one of these classic protests, man. Another one of these classic videos of some people online just kind of, having this idea that they're some sort of like activist. And, they think they're saving the world or something, right? But in all reality, they're just making a complete fool out of themselves, right? Like, how many times are we going to see videos where people go somewhere that, honestly, it has really nothing to do with whatever it is that they're protesting? They make a big stink or a big fuss about whatever it is that they're talking about at that current time, and then they, like, almost imagine that they're, like, impenetrable to criticism or, like, any sort of action. It's the weirdest shit ever. So, this is, unfortunately, all coming from a group that has just, they've done this numerous times. It's been all over Europe especially, man. I don't know why in particular they've done this kind of stuff in Europe. I'm not sure. I think this tournament even was in Europe. I mean, in the video, they reference the UK government. I would think that if they weren't in Europe, or especially in the UK, they wouldn't be talking about them in particular, but these Just Stop Oil idiots where, they've gone, I'm pretty sure, to, like, art museums, and they've tried, like, vandalizing paintings and stuff to try and get a message across. And before we even get any further, I just want to go ahead and point out what their objective is, okay? Their objective is, as the name states, to just stop oil. Now, I don't know if everybody around this whole video community or whatever has been living with their fucking heads in the sand or what's been going on, but the idea of climate change being serious and like us needing to stop being dependent on oil is not some oppressed concept that nobody fucking believes or supports. These people are like literally just basically protesting in favor of the already popular opinion. I mean, most people already look at things like climate change and like, oh, should we use oil for everything? Things like that, right? There's already been plenty of like action taken. And not to say that they can't do more and that we shouldn't do more in some instances, but like to pretend as if nobody knows this is a concern. I don't really even understand what this is. It's almost like protesting like, hey guys, killing is bad. You already have the popular opinion. What are you protesting? So anyway, they went to a gaming tournament and they decided that for whatever reason, this eSports arena, essentially, that's hosting this event was a pretty viable target for one of their new protests. And how do you think they did this, right? Did they do the normal, typical protest where you go in there with some picket signs and you like yell really loud and make your point clear? Did they peacefully protest by just standing alongside and not interrupting the event and just making themselves visible? Did they even just stand on stage and like interrupt the event? No, they didn't do any of these things. They do this.
Round for Joker very quickly with effect too. And the thing about Joker is that he likes to play what's going on?
We are Just Stop Oil, and we are demanding that the UK government immediately cease all new licensing for coal, oil and gas. The UK government is playing with our lives. We've got tipping point after tipping point, and they continue.
So they get on stage and just start spraying this orange paint or like goo or something all over the screens and shit where the whole event's been going on, right? If you've never been to an esports event, usually if there is seating inside, there's like also big screens around as well. So that way, you're not just looking at like a bunch of guys sitting on a stage playing the game with no gameplay. Like you can actually see what's going on in real time. And that's pretty much what that is. So by them going up on stage and just spraying the fuck out of the screen with this paint, they're just essentially deliberately trying to destroy the entire event and ruin this whole esports event for everybody who's playing, commentating, attending, whatever it may be, right? As you can see from this tweet too, in the middle of winners finals, these activist morons jump on stage and spread paint all over the monitors and venue. And as you can see, I mean, the screen is just covered. You can't really see anything going on. I mean, it's just ridiculous, right? Like you go into an esports event out of everything that you could protest, right? I mean, I'm not some sort of, like genius or anything, but just think thinking off the top of the head, where are some places that I would find, you would probably also find, appropriate to have like an oil protest, right? Like, oh, let's stop using fossil fuels. Do you go to the coal power plants and protest outside of those? Nah, no reason to do any of that. Do you go outside like the major automotive manufacturers who constantly lobby to keep like car infrastructure and like oil dependent infrastructure alive for profit? No, don't go to their headquarters or anything like that. Just go vandalize the smaller owned, franchise stores and whatnot. Oh, do you even go to like, I don't know, fucking Sunoco's headquarters or like some gas station, BP, whatever, right? Do you go to their headquarters and protest them there? No, don't do that. They would maybe actually see the protest if we did that, right? The people who are responsible for all of this might actually see our opinion and see what we're saying. We should go to this fucking gaming tournament in the middle of the UK and we should vandalize everything in there and ruin the event for a bunch of completely uninvolved people in this whole fight and make everybody think that we're the fucking assholes here, right? Like, I don't even understand this mentality, right? Because, like, trust me, I understand, right? Like, you want to protest, I get that part, but what I don't understand is, why is your idea of protesting something like this going just to random places and vandalizing other people's shit? Like, you're just going and affecting other business owners and other, like, people in the community who are just completely, like, probably on your side in all reality. Like, I'm sure a good amount of people in the room playing and spectating or whatever, they probably are like, yeah, I think we should stop using oil too, right? Like, we should not use fossil fuels and whatnot. But then you see shit like this, right? You see them going out of their way to just be, like, the biggest assholes possible in this kind of instance, right? And it's like, it almost makes me now want to root against them, ironically, right? Like, for some reason, every time I see these fucking morons do something like this, I'm starting to hope that everybody in America buys a Ford F-150 and just fucking steps the pedal, you know? Just flooring fucking gasoline. We need to accelerate climate change to get rid of these assholes, right? I don't know, man. It's almost like the people at, like, PETA, right? They're just not good representatives of their cause. I mean, that's kind of just the reality for a whole bunch of different things. Like, there's just so many wrong groups of people that just completely fuck up their own movements by behaving like children, just like this, right? I mean, PETA, you know, we're so against animal abuse and whatnot, but they'll kidnap people's family pets and they kill more animals than anyone you've ever met. And then you got these assholes, Just Stop Oil. Oh, we're gonna protest the UK using oil. Let's go to a gaming event where everybody is ironically inside and they're not out driving cars all over the fucking place. And they're all just kind of in the same place playing video games and not burning oil and whatnot, right? Let's go fuck with them and make them think we're horrible people. What kind of concept is that? Where does that even come into mind? I mean, what happened to having an issue with the actual people responsible for the problem, you know? Because trust me, I mean, oil tycoons and executives and whatnot, they are some of the most legitimately evil people on the planet. There is no excuse for the way that they behave. I mean, you ever see those, like, Dawn dish soap commercials, right? Where they got, like, the little cute duck, and you're just like, oh, look at the cute little duck. And then you realize, oh, it's coated in fucking oil. It can't breathe. It can't move its wings. It's completely coated in oil, and it won't live. And then they're like, oh, and now the Dawn washes the beautiful little duckling, and now this soap is just taking this oil off. You want to know why that commercial exists? You want to know why those happen? Because oil executives are shitbags, and they will do anything and everything they can to profit, even if it means destroying everything around them. That's true. We all know that. Do we need a bunch of self-entitled, pompous douchebags who've probably never suffered or went through any real adversity in their lives ever, who have completely wild, out of ego issues that have led them down this road to think there's some sort of, like, social savior going around and just vandalizing people's shit? Because, I mean, this is also, too, like, the finals, right? This was the winner's finals for this game. So this was pretty much like the championship, right? Or, like, closing in on that, depending on how the tournament bracket was actually set up in the long term, right? Because sometimes multiple tournaments lead into whatever, right? But anyway, right? It's a pretty significant match, and that's when they chose to do this shit. And one thing I want to bring up, right? right here, now that we're kind of closing the video out a little bit more. How exactly does something like this even happen in the first place, right? I mean, we're talking about what I would imagine to be a pretty significant population of people in this building, right? You would think there'd be some sort of like security measures. I really hate to be this guy, but it's not as if esports tournaments are just like completely safe from any sort of violence. I mean, I remember, might have been like 5 years ago now, but there was like a Madden tournament in, I think, Jacksonville, Florida, right? And a dude literally shot that shit up. So I mean, it's not as if this stuff is 100% safe or foolproof or whatever, right? But it's like, how did several activists in Just Stop Oil shirts with like squirt guns or whatever full of paint manage to get all the way through the like event security, walk into the main stages and through the crowd or whatever, and do all of this and no one see it coming? I mean, there's just no capacity ever for where they would be appropriate inside of the building like that. And people who were at the event said that it really honestly also took security quite a while to actually react. Like, once the vandalism started and people were recording and like obviously making note of what happened, even then the security, apparently, according to people who were at the event, was not really on top of things. Once again, I really hate to be that guy, but it doesn't matter, right? Like, this is an event that has a lot of people at it. There's realistically some danger, you know what I mean? I mean, it's not, I get it, it's the UK, that kind of stuff doesn't happen as much there in terms of like mass casualty stuff like here in the US, right? But even then, like, security needs to be a top priority whenever you're hosting major events, anything. And I think most people would agree. Who honestly wants to go to an event where the security is terrible and you pay to go, or you go and play and you dedicate time and energy into it, and then some people show up for a protest and just ruin everything? So ultimately, nothing about any of this situation makes sense, right? Like, why are people doing this? It doesn't prove a point. All it does is turn more people against this kind of movement. And in reality, it makes people who support like ending oil and whatnot look like dicks. So it's one of those things where you're doing more harm than good. You're not benefiting your movement. You're not benefiting your cause. In reality, you're holding it back. And then also, like, esports events. What are we doing, guys? Where's the security? Where is people making sure shit like this doesn't happen? Like, there should not be major disruptions at an event like this. We're talking about winners finals. This is one of the most important matches you can play, right? In terms of like this tournament and like this event and whatnot, right? Like, people obviously care about this match, and then for this to just happen right in the middle of all of that, I feel bad for the people who participated, right? Because imagine, like I said, putting in that time and that effort to want to play and like learn the game and all of the time it takes to actually perfect it enough to play in a major tournament like this, and then it just kind of all get ruined and it's not even in your control. I would be pretty pissed off, and I just wish people understood more that like making a complete dickhead out of yourself is not benefiting the cause. Just because you can go overboard and do something completely ridiculous and mind-boggling and unexpected doesn't mean that's what you should do. Because truth be told, a lot of people, when it comes to their support for ideals like this, if they see the people supporting this cause behaving, just vandalizing people's shit and acting this way, what incentive does that give them to truly support that cause if they feel like they're just basically alongside a bunch of dickheads? Anyway, with all that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @subtheoptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, talking about this stupid-ass protest and signing out.